I have no taste buds. That's how I know my gift of cooking is God. I have no taste buds in my tongue, but yet and still, I'm a cooking ass. They always told me, find a man that loves you more than you love him.
Welcome to Innerpreneur, the podcast that's totally about you taking care of the business of you. I'm here today with my cousin, my confidant, my friend, the best person, my ride or die. Like we can take a neighborhood down together. You heard me? You heard me? But she is one of the most wonderful people I've ever encountered in my whole life. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share her story. So let's get into it. Hi, T.
Hey, baby.
So go ahead and tell the audience that this is under protest,
Yeah,
that you
this
refuse to do this.
This is under protest.
Okay.
And we have this documented, so I'm going to say this once and say it only. I love you. You know, you're my ride or die. I love you because you're what I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And I'm what you're not. So we kind of balance each other. I love your free spirit. I love that you're open. I love that you're good. You know, I've said this to you before. I don't know if you remember. If it was a choice between me or you living, I would make sure you live because you would do more for the world than I would.
And unfortunately, I feel this opposite.
Yeah.
I think you would do more for the world than I would.
So together we make a good connection.
We do. I love you.
I love you too.
I really do.
I love you too. I'm in the middle. It's three of us, camera.
Yeah.
It's three the hard way. And in my mind, the oldest one, she and I are bookends. We're more similar. You bring the smoke. We bring the bombs.
And she ain't lying.
And that's what I like best about you. She and I are more alike than different. But what I like and love most about you is you're my road dog, my ride or die. I'll do anything for you. For you, even under protest, you know.
That's why she's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Even under protest. In the end, I do wind up seeing it your way. The last 18 months, and we've been ride or die for about 8 years now, but the last 18 months, I've begun to act like you. Yeah, I said it, camera. The whole world knows now. Being with you during this journey of cancer, I've become more loving, more caring, more understanding. I've learned to listen to learn in the process. I ain't gonna go that far and say I care about the world.
Okay, Jesus.
I am now caring more about the community through your eyes. I like how you encourage me no matter what, my good, bad, or my indifferent. You see the good in me, and I appreciate that. You see the parts of me that I want to see when I look into the mirror, and you've always did that. But now when I look in the mirror, I see those parts. I used to run away from them. Most days I embrace them. Some days I go to the old me, let's blow this shit up. Oh, okay, so we're not going to say that anymore. That's it, and that's all.
Okay, good. It never happened, everybody? Are we here?
This conversation never happened.
Okay. You know, my first question is, and I really, you probably have already said a lot of it, but who exactly is Tjuana Price?
She's complicated, but easy. She's easy to figure out. But she'll give you clues to make you think she's complicated. I am loving. I am caring. I know who I am most days. I am giving. I am generous, And above all, what I know is I'm strong and I'm a fighter. I'm not always easy because I don't want to make it easy for you.
Tell me, tell me about it.
But I'm really easygoing and good-spirited. Good-spirited. And I love humor. Humor gets me through everything. You know, some people say my sense of humor is warped because I laugh when you shouldn't laugh, but that's my way of getting through and getting over. Oh, and I'm a believer in the higher power, and I call my higher power God, and I trust him, and I can hear him. You know, I used to hear him, but it wasn't him. It was me in my voice. And now actually I hear him. So, you know, that's who I am, you know, fun girl.
Fun girl.
Fun girl.
I want to, the reason why I really wanted to do this interview is probably over the last 24 months, you've had to deal with different health issues. So I want to talk about that, but before we even get to that, because that was part of the transformation, I want to talk about you being a business owner. I want to talk about your catering company, being a club owner, and then also working a job. And being able to make sure all those things were successful. So that's first and foremost. Let's start with your journey to working with the FCC.
Complicated one. I've been with the Federal Communications Agency for 25 years. And I got there by that higher power that I told you about. I came in there as a temp. And let me begin saying that I belong to a fellowship of men and women. And when I got there, I had 9 months clean. I had no hope, no dreams, and above all, I had no faith in myself. So I landed this job there, and they put me on the 8th floor with the commissioners and the chairman. And what I did was went to meetings every day. And when I got to the job from the meetings in that morning, the chairman would stop by at my desk and ask me what the word was. And the word was something that I had learned in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. So he came by every day, and I was feeding him information that was fed to me, and he had no clue who I was. So the position came available, and he suggested that I apply for the position as the receptionist. I was scared to apply for the position as the receptionist because, yeah, I was wanted in 3 states. I was afraid to put my Social Security number down. I was afraid to do anything because I'm not sure what was going to come up with the life that I had lived before coming to the Federal Communications Commission. So I didn't apply for that job. And one of the commissioners got upset, and she came back outside and asked me why didn't I apply for that job, because she had created it just for me.
No.
Just for me. I couldn't tell her why I didn't apply for the job. Chairman Kennard asked me why didn't I apply, and he told me to come in his office that afternoon. And I told him why I didn't apply for the job. I told him who I was, and that I had a background, and that I was wanted in 3 states. He didn't say yes, nay, or nothing. He just shook his head and said, okay, go back to your desk. 10 minutes later, this lady came, Michelle. I'm going to call her by her name. Michelle came to my desk. She was Chairman Kennard's attorney. And she came to me and told me, I'm going to tell you what Chairman Kennard wanted me to do for you. Chairman Kennard wanted me to turn myself in to all 3 of those states. And when I got to those states, this attorney that was sitting in my desk would be there for me. So I trusted for the first time in my life that this man had me. that they weren't taking me up there to get arrested, that they were taking me up there to get me out of trouble. And I did that. Michelle called Delaware, New York, and New Jersey, where I was wanted at, to have the warrants lifted. So in the event that I was traveling north and we got pulled over for speeding, I wouldn't get arrested. And I went, I'm getting ready to cry.
Me too.
And I went to all 3 courthouses in that day. And when I got there, to each courthouse, Michelle was there. The charges, I'm not going to disclose what they were.
Okay.
Michelle had them changed to disorderly conduct charges
Okay.
in all 3 states. I had to stay out of trouble for a year, and I had to pay some fines. And if I stayed out of trouble for 3 years, they would be expunged from my records. So I came back, and the company that I work for now, I applied for the job. Chairman Kennard one day stopped by my desk to let me know that he had a brother that was just like me. And he couldn't save his brother. But he was damn for sure going to save me. So that's how I got to the FCC with that. What I found out is people saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. It was a couple of other people that I disclosed my background to, and they too had somebody in their family, just like me, that they couldn't save. But they were for sure going to do everything they could to save me. So that's how I got at the FCC. I started out as a receptionist, and now I am a program analyst, and this is the funny part about it, and my God has a sense of humor. I work for OGC, Office of General Counsel, as an ethics
Definitely ethics.
specialist. So when I got to the FCC, the only thing honest about me was my dishonesty. But God had a plan for me. He knew that I was going to change and some things were going to happen. And he knew who I was because he created me. I just didn't know. I didn't know who I was. So that is what I do for the FCC now. I have been there 25 years. I have crawled up through the ranks. And you know I never finished college. I started. But I never finished. And I hold a high grade that most people hold with degrees. I also have a top secret. I'm talking about me. I have a top secret clearance. So I know there is a God. I know there's a God that has a plan for me even when I don't have a plan for me. And what I know now is he has that plan. And when he talks to me, as I told you earlier, I just got to walk through. I ain't got to do nothing. Just show up.
So,
Okay, wait a minute. That was enough about me, about my life, but go ahead.
FCC, you're now 25 years. And we're going to come back to the FCC because something that's so fascinating about that you can just always see where God's working. But you're working at the FCC, then you get this opportunity to be this club owner. But first, before you become the club owner, you
Had a catering and
a
an
catering
event
business
planning.
called Essential.
Essential One,
Essential One.
which
So
is
you have,
named after my dog.
can you share why you named your catering company Essential One?
I named my catering company Essential One after my dog is because most people name their businesses after their children. I don't have that. And that's by choice, that I never had children. I named my dog a name that he could live up to. And he was essential in the area that we lived in. He was essential to my ex-husband. He was essential to me. I loved coming home through the door 10 times a day, and he would greet me each time like he had never seen me before. So he
I don't
became...
recall him greeting me that way, but go ahead.
Yeah, because he was vicious. No, he wasn't trained to do that to outsiders. Only the family members. So I named my business after him. And And the reason why I named my business after him, because eating and cooking is essential. That's where we get to know each other, when we break bread. You know what I'm saying? And I love to hear y'all tell me that I can cook. I love that part too. The cook loves to hear that part. Is why I named my business after Essential. I just went blank. But that's why I named my business after him.
You also told me that you named him Essential because of the neighborhood you lived in, and that he handled
Okay.
he handled the drug.
He was my first animal. I've never had. My mom said if you didn't pay rent,
You can't stay.
you weren't essential in the house. Couldn't stay. So he was the first dog animal period that I had ever had, and I fell in love with him. We lived in Southeast DC. On Minnesota Avenue, and it wasn't a great neighborhood. It was a neighborhood that was getting ready to turn, but it wasn't a great neighborhood at all. And I was told that a dog's name should have 2 syllables to it, and it should, like again, I said, it should be a name that he could live up to. And he became essential in that neighborhood. The drug dealers and the crackheads, everybody knew where Essential lived. They didn't know his parents, but they knew Essential. So he became an essential part of our home in the neighborhood. And even the neighbors knew him. Even though he was mean and vicious, the neighbors knew him. He didn't like drugs. He could smell them on you and in you. And he did not care for that. So I had a police dog that wasn't a police dog. And it was a couple of nights where we had fell asleep in Southeast DC and just left the door open. And he stood in that door all night long guarding us. And nobody ever knocked on the door. It had gotten to the point where the mailman and the UPS people would just throw our stuff.
They threw your mail into the yard.
Over the fence. They would throw it over the fence, you know. And even when I was walking him and would be out in the street, you had to stand like 15 feet from me, because he would not let you get to me. And I loved that. I loved that he was 175 pounds. I'm this little lady walking this big dog, and he was trained, because we sent him to school even though he didn't graduate. He went to doggy training.
I wonder why.
No, not because he was vicious. He did not know that he was a dog. He wouldn't play with other dogs. He actually was an essential member of our family. Like most people, when you give your dog a steak, you just give it to him. He wouldn't eat it. Everything had to be cut up. It had to be put on a plate or in his bowl. He really did not think he was a dog. When he went to daycare, he would not play with other dogs. He would stay in the corner because he did not think he was dog. He shouldn't be there.
Yeah, because his mother fed him steak and salmon and cut up his food just like a child. So I received it.
I had some Tims made for him, even though he ate them up. I wanted him to be this puppy, this lap dog.
At 175.
Well, he was a Rockwilder. I didn't know anything about dogs. When he came home, he was 8 weeks old, so he was this tiny little fluff of hair. And I didn't realize how big they would grow, but my ex-husband did. And he knew by the time he got to be a big horse, I would have been in love with him. I used to put bandanas on him and bow ties. And he would wear them, but after I left the room, he would rip them up, but he would wear them.
Okay. So Essential, tell us more about the catering business and how.
Okay, my
how you got
catering,
into that.
once again, that's God. That is God. I never had an interest in cooking. And we come from a family of cooks, all kind of cooks up in that family. And I never had an interest in cooking, but I was always a prep girl growing up. And you should remember that. I was always a prep girl because I was always on punishment. Y'all got to be free. So I was on punishment, and I didn't realize I was picking up things from grandma, auntie, and mommy, and daddy by being in the kitchen peeling the potatoes or whatever my task was for my punishment that day. And I could cook. Now, what had happened was a girlfriend was getting married, and her caterer got sick, accident, I can't even remember, but she didn't have a caterer. And I told her, I got you. And I did have her. And in my mind, I had her for that event that day. So I did her wedding. I think it was 200 people. So I did the food for her wedding. And from that wedding, I got about 10 other jobs. And then I realized, wow, I can cook, but I don't want to cook. And a secret to those who may eat my cooking today, I have no taste buds. That's how I know my gift of cooking is God. I have no taste buds in my tongue, but yet and still, I'm a cooking ass.
Yes, you are.
I'm a cooking. I'll use your taste buds to tell me what I need to add. And once again, it was a gift that I gave. And then I enjoyed. I began to enjoy cooking. I began to enjoy not just the cooking part. Cooking was okay, but I loved the decorating part. Is what I liked best. And the jobs that I was getting came hand in hand. They wanted me to cook as well as do the decorating. So that's how I got into that business. And then through that business, there was a club here in D.C. that was called the Chateau, which was a staple for hand dancers in D.C. It was a black owner. He had owned it for over 40-something years. And the opportunity came up to join forces with another woman in business. I've always wanted to be in business, and I thought about it for a long time. And I have the spirit of one of those, when I sit in my rocking chair at 90, I want to be one of those that said, I did it, instead of I wish I could have. I'm going to be sitting in a rocking chair and say, I did it. So I joined forces with another black woman to revitalize this club. The first year was cool, but the years after that was not cool. And what I learned from that is I don't need to go in business with anybody else but myself, because I can't control the other person, good, bad, or indifferent. And what I found out is there were moments I couldn't control myself. Because we were not evenly yoked, and I thought because she was from the streets and I wasn't, I don't know, I just thought she would be the yin to my yang and the yang to her, because she had the savvy, the hustle, the drive, and I had the business knowledge. But towards the end, that street knowledge she had would always override the business knowledge and the goodness in me. Because when I win, or when you win, we all win. That's how I see it. When one woman wins, black, white, purple, whoever she is, we all achieve. She didn't think like that. It was all about her. I couldn't control it, but we were locked into a contract for 3 years. But what I could control is not choking her and going to jail.
Okay.
It's true. It took a lot of work. Ask Sam. Sam's caught me many a time in the midair, jumping over a bar, trying to choke her. So what I had to learn from that is, I just need to be in business by myself.
So you believe a lot of people have problems with partnerships. How do you feel about that? You don't think that you could have a beautiful, great business with the right partner?
Perhaps I could, but I am still
Traumatized.
to this day. A little traumatized behind that. I mean, because she was doing things, and I knew she was doing them, you know what I'm saying? But I have a God that holds me, and that same God that holds me hold her. But she just didn't reach for him. She was doing things like stealing, and I know that, but that was that was my concern, but that wasn't my concern, My concern at the end of each night, when I lay my head on my pillow, that my higher power says to me, child, job well done. So I couldn't be concerned about that. I could have stole as well, because I was the one handling the books. She had no book knowledge. I could have simply moved some line items. But that's not who I am, and despite what she was doing and how vicious it was, I couldn't do it. And towards the end, that's what dissolved our relationship. Because towards the end, when I started counting up all the money homegirl had taken, the left side of my brain, it says, you're justified. and doing some stuff, but I didn't. I didn't. Because in the end, I knew it would pay off for me not to. And I just bowed out. And perhaps I would like to get into a business, with somebody, perhaps one day.
Another club?
No, no more clubs.
Okay.
It's too much free money running around. It's too hectic. It's a lot of variables that you can't control. People coming in the club with guns or, fights and stuff that you just can't control. And right now, in this climate, hell no, I wouldn't own another club. And it's a lot of hard work. It's hard work. And I was doing that with my business, my catering and event business. I had the full-time government job. And then I was here at this club 24 hours a day, every day. So it had gotten to the point that I was running on automatic. Things had to be done, fires had to be put out, and you were just doing them. It was a lot. It was perfect for that time in my life, but not now. I'm older. I'm on the last journey. I'm on the last journey in my book, the last chapters. And I want to work smart, not hard.
What would you tell someone who did what you did? They have a full-time job. They have a catering business. They have a club / restaurant. They have all these things.
A husband, a dog.
A husband, a dog. You have all those things. What would you tell somebody going forward if they wanted to do some of the things that you would do? What would you have done differently?
Not done it.
You wouldn't have done it?
Mm-mm. I wouldn't have done the club.
Okay.
Everything else I would have done. Keep your eye on the prize. Secure the bag. Stay focused, no matter what.
Okay.
Reach for your dreams. Like I told you, I want to be on the porch at 90 saying I did instead of I wish I could have. I did it. I did the damn thing, good, bad, and indifferent. And when I went into the business, it was the case. I wanted us to make money, but I knew realistically the first 5 years we weren't going to make money. I wanted the experience. And sometimes it's not about the money. You know what I'm saying? It's about life experience. So I wouldn't have done it again, but I was happy I'd done it. I don't know if it makes any sense to you.
It makes
I was
total
happy
sense.
I did it. But if it came to me again today, no.
Is it no because you know what you know, or is it no?
No, because I know what I know.
Okay. I got it.
And like I said, I want to work smart now, not hard. That was hard work. People, the personalities, it's a lot.
Do you think about going forward in your life? Like, what do you think is next?
I don't know, but I'm open. I'm excited about it. Like you said, I've spent the last 24 months and maybe longer than that with cancer. I've gone from, I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. I've got thyroid under my belt. I've got breast cancer under my belt. And as a Friday baby, I got lung cancer under my belt. What I'm looking for next is, I don't know, but I'm open and I'm excited. I have no plans, none. I have been in the bed for 18 months. I feel like Rip Van Winkle's wife. Dude, everything is new to me. Everything is exciting. Then we had COVID. Then I had to protect my lung. So I have literally, and I know you hate this, but I love to say it, I have been in a basement, chained in a basement for 18 months, just me and God in a room.
No, that's not what she's been telling people. She's been telling people that I have her chained in the basement. That's what she's been telling people.
The story sounds better when it's you. When it's you as opposed to me. It always sounds better when I put it on you.
Oh, my God.
I have no plans. I have plans, but I don't have plans, I have plans to get back to Florida. I had a house built in Florida looking towards retirement. I was in that house 6 months before I found out I had lung cancer. And I had to fly back up here because Florida doesn't have Kaiser. So I didn't get my start in Florida. When I initially went there, I was going to get the start. I was going to find a third husband, having a house built. I was going to get remarried, and I was going to ride all off into the sunset. But now my vision is just to explore Florida, as opposed to taking cruises. I was going to do little city tours once a month, But I'm just excited to go back there and jumpstart. No, I can't even say restart. Hell, to start a life in Florida working towards retirement.
So you're going back to Florida. When you went there, your intention was you was going to find you a good rich man, and you was going to get you, obviously,
no doubt.
Right? And then you're
open. Didn't matter what nationality. In fact, remember I told you I wanted a collection of all nationalities of men. And I have that things to do list. Some people call it bucket list, but I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's my things to do list, and on my things to do list. And y'all may think this is funny, and some of you may be able to relate. I always wanted to be a hoe.
Thanks for sharing. Okay.
I did. Close your mouth. I did, but I was always
your whole
married.
days when you went to Florida.
I was always married in a relationship. I never was able to be free. So I just want to see a whole bunch of men, I don't know, what do you call them? Maybe one that I'm just on his shoulders, or he's just on my
Escort.
arm, an arm piece, escort. I want to do that, and I want all of them to know about it. I don't want to be confined to one man. And don't get me wrong when I say be a hoe. Well, yeah.
Say how you truly feel, okay?
Maybe I'll get a softer word, because I do like soft words for my behavior, my bad behavior. Maybe we'll come up with another word for it, but
a soft hoe.
I want to be a soft hoe.
Okay.
I like that. There's soft porn, right? Just a soft hoe. Right. I just want to I just want to.
Okay.
And maybe I'll find one that I fall in love with. And hopefully I'll find 5 of them that fall in love with me, And that's what's been wrong with, well, I think, maybe not wrong, but my mother always told me, find a man that loves you more than you love him. Oh, and I found those, they jump out of bushes and they stalk you when they love you more than you love them.
Okay. So that theory hasn't worked out well. Okay.
That was bad advice, Mom. No.
So I just want to step back for a minute. So your plan was to go there, live your life out loud, and then you get the diagnosis that you have lung cancer. Mm-hmm. And then you come back here and get chained in the basement.
Mm-hmm. You're chained up in the basement. Be sure to make that clear.
Okay. What went through your mind? Did you say, God, why would you have me come buy this house here in Florida? And now I can't even get the health care I need down here. And now I have to come back.
If you remember, I bought that house when COVID first started, and I was going down visiting Val, our other cousin. And I began to love the feeling of Florida. I began to, get energy from the water in Florida. The sun did something for me. Everything did something for me down there. And I said a prayer. And I asked God, is this my spot? Should I think about moving south and giving up the north? And the prayer that I prayed for him is because, I don't know if you heard in my talking, I've always had a man. I've always felt as though I needed a man to catch me, to hold me, to do something for me. So my prayer was to get a house, because I've had many houses, but it's always had a man's name attached to it. The goal during that, getting over breast cancer, was to get a house, to build a house from the ground, and that house just have my name on it. That was the only prayer I had. I didn't say, God, let this be my retirement home.
Specific.
I didn't say, God, this is the end for me. This is it. I didn't say any of that. So God answered my prayer. He allowed me to build a house and go through the process, the feelings, the scaredness. Oh, I can't do this. Trusting on him, baby, I got you. Remember the house that
I
I
do.
wanted to get was smaller.
Yes, I do remember.
And
Yes.
they canceled the contract because my God whispered in my ear, my child, do you know who I am? I know you're trying to be humble and ask for this small house. He said, let me show you who I am. Since you can't ask me for what you really want, let me show you what I can do for you. So the first house I looked at, remember, it was 1,900 square feet. He gave me a house that's 2,500 square feet, 3-car garage, and it costs the same price as that first house that I wanted. So he showed me, that was his way of showing me. My child asked me, I'm your father for what you want. And he did that. The house is beautiful, it sits on a pond, but I'm not sure if that's where I want to be. Or if that's where I want to go. Well, let me change that. I know this is not the end for me.
Okay.
But what I have done in the process by asking him for this house is I've got property in a neighborhood where I make money in my sleep.
Yes.
I make money in my sleep off my house.
And you mean from an equity position, so people
Yeah,
can
equity.
understand.
I'm sorry, from an equity perspective, because I'm near Tampa. They're building, people are coming down, they're buying houses every day, despite
Every
what
day.
the interest rate is. And with them doing that, I make money sleeping. See, that's working easy and not hard.
I received that. So I want to get to the lung cancer. You diagnosed, you have to come back here. And do you remember what your first thought was when you heard the diagnosis that
Damn, me again? Me again. Damn. Me again. All right, so I had 24 hours. My golden rule is no matter what I'm going through, especially stuff that's not good, I give myself 24 hours to lay on the ground, fall out, pass out, do whatever what you want to do. I told you I'm strong. I fight when I don't even know I'm fighting. You know, that's my first go-to, fight. And I know everybody gets a turn. And yet again, it was my turn again. My turn again. But I didn't like it. But I had already been on this walk. God has showed me, just like that house, he showed me what he could do for me. You know, and this time, you know, through the breast cancer, I fought. I know you saw me every morning going to radiation. For 8 weeks, I fought, I cried, I screamed, I hollered, I cussed God, because that's the God that I have. He knows his child, he created me. He knows me. Just like I know him and I'm getting to know him. But I got up, I got dressed every day to go get radiated.
right.
I did. So when I found out I had lung cancer, there's nothing I can say. Why not me? I couldn't say why me. All I can say is, Tjuana, why not you? And what I told myself was, he was preparing me for something in the future. I don't know what he has in store for me, but it's a heavy task. It's some deep stuff that he has for me, and I've got to go through what I've got to go through in order to get there. I said my famous prayer, the prayer that I say all the time, God, let your will be done and not mine. And when I say that prayer, and when I said that prayer for the lung cancer, it was either I stay or I go. I'm okay with it because I know it was your will. And I packed a bag and I headed north, up here to you.
So, in watching you go through the lung cancer, I saw the breast cancer, but the lung cancer was different.
You lived it. You lived that with me, baby.
Yeah, that the lung cancer was different, and I don't think you realized how many people you inspired on this journey who are also in the same situation. Simple things like when you went to get your first chemo and she decided she's going to go in tutus and take pictures with all the people there.
Remember, my goddaughter Tinka told me tutus make everything magical. So that's why I wore tutus.
Yeah, which is our goddaughter. So that had to be hard because you had, after you go through the surgery, then you have 48 treatments. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And you
every 21 days.
Every day. I just want to tell you, I felt inspired. I'm like, what shit I got going on ain't shit. Real talk.
That's how I felt though. What I had going on wasn't shit.
And that's why you made it through.
And that's why, I became the poster child for all my doctors. In fact, I had a doctor that said he wished I could teach his patients how to recover, because the battle wasn't mine; it was the Lord's.
You just had to walk through it.
I just had to walk. All I had to do was show up. I believe that we all have a purpose. I believe the purpose is determined before we even get here.
Absolutely, it is.
He knows the outcome. So all I had to do was show up and believe, even if he took my life, even if I died during the process. It was his will, and that I did the best that I could do. I told you at the end of the night, my concern is to hear my father whisper in my ear, "Child, job well done." So I showed up. And then what I found out during the process is people need to be inspired, especially in cancer. And just because you have cancer doesn't mean it's a death sentence. Even though it may be a death sentence, you don't have to treat it as one, as a death sentence. And like I told you, I used humor. And I just always reach for the light. Not intentionally. It's just who I am. I've reached for the light. Why? Because that's how God created me. And I knew I was going to get through this process one way or other, live or dead. I was going to have to go through. It wasn't going to stop because I didn't want to go through. I wasn't magically not going to have cancer anymore because I didn't raise my hand for it.
Right.
So I went through, and it was just funny because we learned things about me. Remember when the doctor gave me like a list of 50 side effects that we could have? And I couldn't have, and I might have, and we prepared ourselves. I did anyway, for my hair falling out, and that didn't happen. My hair grew, and I lost my hearing. So my higher power has a sense of humor. I can hardly hear. Some days I can't hear at all. There's a whole bunch of noise in my ears. Some days I can hear out of one ear. Yesterday I couldn't hear out of either ears. It's just really funny. Sometimes I can hear 3 states away. It's just real funny. And to be honest, half the shit I hear anyway, I don't want to hear it anyway.
Right, of course.
My hearing was fine. And then we had a whole lot of other side effects, And what happened was when they came, I leaned into them instead of bracing myself for them. I leaned into them. We began to, then I started keeping a diary and charting my side effects and what flared it up, what food flared it up. So once again, I leaned into it and I worked through it because we already had the plan. I just had to show up and find a way to walk through.
So, by no means you're the person that you were 24 months ago.
Oh, hell no.
Do you think, but not for the cancer, you would be who you are today? In terms of who you transformed into being?
No. Because during this 18 months, the connection that I have with my God is so much stronger. It's a go-to now. Before it was a debate. Really, God? I don't think so. I'm going to try it another way. No, during that 18 months with me and him locked up.
Chained up.
I'm sorry.
Get it correct.
Let me get my story right. Chained up in the basement. Yeah, we did some work. No, I would not have been. And In fact, I tell people sometimes I'm grateful for the cancer, and that's why I didn't let a whole lot of people know about my cancer either, because y'all would be looking at me all crazy, talking about, oh, poor you. Oh, Tjuana, I'm sorry. I am not a pity case. He chose me. He didn't choose you. He chose me. He chose the one that was what? Fit for the job. I had already been trained through thyroid cancer and breast cancer. He trained. I was already in position for cancer. He didn't choose you. Now, all of us are going to go through something. You're not going to get through life without going through something. It just depends on how you go through it.
So, for lack of a better word, cancer kind of became your friend, your accountability partner, made you become someone who you may have never become because of the things.
And the connection, the closeness.
That he gave you to God.
Yeah, because I already had a God. He and I were already close, but we like this now.
Y'all bosom buddies.
We fuzzy buddies.
But better yet, you can hear him.
I can hear him.
The way
I can not only hear him, I can see him. And then what else I've learned through this process, I don't know where other people get it from, but I can see it in the universe now. I can see it in the animals. I can see it. I understand that I operate on a higher vibration level than some people.
I receive it.
I understand that. I understand the gifts that I could not predict the future, but I can see things. And I've always, even as a child, but I never embraced it and never dove into it. But during the 18 months in here, I can see that. Remember the day the hummingbird rang the doorbell? That was just for me. I was upstairs cooking, the doorbell rang, and I went to the door, and it was a hummingbird standing right at the door. Hummingbirds are really, they scatter. And he stood there. I don't know what his message was now. I haven't been able to interpret their language yet. But you knew. I knew that was just for me. I don't know what he was saying, and then I ran down, I forgot what it was, and I read the spiritual meaning of a hummingbird. So I have a lot of moments just like that. The other day, me and a squirrel had a conversation.
How was he doing?
He was doing fine.
Okay, good.
He just stood right there, and these are animals that are scary animals, and he just stood in the path while I was doing the walk, and I asked him, how you doing? What's up? Glad to see you. And then I asked him what was the lotto number. I asked all of them, what's the number? One has yet to reply yet. I realize now that I do operate on a higher level, and I just need to embrace that too with the rest of the things in my life.
Absolutely. So my final question is
it really?
I'm not sure. But my final question is, are you going to miss me?
I'm missing you now. I'm missing you now. You have become my right side. Like we're joined twins. And I told you this like a year ago that we're both probably going to have to seek therapy because I've become so close to you, not just close. For almost a year, I was dependent on you. I couldn't even go to the bathroom, Tanya. You would have to walk me to the... Am I going to miss you? That should not even be a question that you have to ask. I'm fighting with myself. Should I leave you? Do you know what I'm saying? But I've got to go back to Florida for at least a year to figure out if that's a place, I'm never coming north, so you must be moving south with me. We must be buying a house somewhere south.
I said I ain't going to Florida. Y'all can forget it.
No. It doesn't have to be Florida. It could be an island. It could be...
Island sounds good.
It could be somewhere warm, Arizona. I'm just not coming north. I don't want to put on fur coats and Uggs and all that malarkey no more and cleaning snow off the car.
But what happens when you get the rich man? Hurry up.
Well, I've already worked that out too. I would keep my house, he will have his house, and then we'll have a house together. I can do these things now because I'm calling the shot.
So you think that your husband would be okay with you having your own separate house. He has his house, and then
Right. For the last 3 years, I have been manless. And you know why I've been manless? And it's been by choice. Is because God has been preparing me, as we've talked about through this home interview.
Yes.
He's preparing my mate as well.
Correct. I received that. Yes,
And it's just not time for us to connect. So we'll be like-minded in a lot of things. But I've been married. I've been married twice. You know?
So it's no biggie.
Yeah, I've been married twice, and we were all, let's change our last names and move in houses together. No.
Okay.
Now, I'm on my last journey. I'm on the last chapters of my life. I'm on the last bricks of that yellow brick road. And I have come into my own. I have accepted who I am. I've embraced the gifts that God has given me that I have fought for so long. And I'm the boss. I make the decisions now. You know, the other marriages, they were head of households and all that other,
Of course.
stuff that you're supposed to do, traditional stuff. No, the last part of my life, Tjuana's making Tjuana's happy first. You know, I've always been a people pleaser. I've got to take care of you first, and then I take care of me last. No. And it's not being selfish, don't get me wrong. It's self first. And if there's some left over, I can share with you.
Absolutely.
But on these last
Yes.
steps on the yellow brick road, it's and who knows? But I'm okay if I don't find. Let me clear that up, camera. I'm okay if I don't find that rich man, if I don't find that mate. I'm okay with just Tjuana and her God. I'm okay.
And let me just say, it's a running joke, the rich man thing. It's just a running joke.
Because I always wanted a rich man. I never married one.
So, yeah.
Oh, they were rich in humor. They were rich in something. It may not necessarily be money, but rich in something. Personality. Hell, I don't know.
So is there anything, really, this is my final question, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share?
Yeah. I didn't even want to do the damn interview, let alone cheer.
Okay, so I'm glad we got that out. And so now when I close out, what I'm asking the guests to do, because what I've been told about my previous ones is that people really don't know who I am. So I want to play a little game. I'm going to give you the opportunity to
I don't
ask.
like games.
Oh, okay, it's not even really a game. What you just really need to do is just ask me 2 random questions.
But I know everything about you.
Oh, God help me.
I grew up with you. We slept in the same bed.
Let's start over again. So I just need you to ask me 2 little questions, because a lot of people.
What are your hopes?
What are my hopes? Are you talking about for my life or this podcast? Just what are you talking about?
She's been like this all her life. Fucking detailed.
Can you?
She wants the details.
Yeah, because I don't. That's broad. That can be. I mean,
What are your next steps?
the next steps for my life.
In love.
Oh, in love.
Those are cute shoes, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Banana Republic. But anyway, my hopes for love. I used to have this idea of what I wanted in terms of love. And it's so funny, Lola just asked me this. And my thought process about love going forward is that I'm really keen on loving me in the best version of myself, and depending on God to connect me to the person who can meet me exactly where I am.
Oh, you're so damn deep. You always have been. Go ahead, girl.
And I'm not looking for a checklist. I'm looking for a heart, mind, soul, and body connection. I'm looking for the thing
Oh, that's good.
that God designed for me. Mm-hmm. And I know it's coming. But I don't want it to come until I'm
How will you
loving.
know that? When you're ready.
Well, I'll know I'm ready. Well, I'm already ready. Let me clarify. I'm already ready. I'm just tweaking and toning and honing some things.
Did you say horn?
No, I didn't say.
Oh, just honing. Oh, okay. Okay. Horny? What? Look, I can't hear, huh?
No, I didn't say horny. Okay. No, that's not what I said. What? Honing.
Oh, honing. Okay.
Jesus help me. Okay. And so that's where I am in my life. I really know that, and I'll be able to, before, you know how you just kind of get people, but I'll know who it is, and they'll know me. And so at the end of the day,
I believe that.
That's where I am.
Another question I have to ask you too, since we're asking questions. I probably have like
Didn't
5
you
or
say
6
you didn't
of
want to
them.
ask no questions?
What the
Now she
hell?
got questions.
Shit. Give me the damn cards. Growing up with you, everybody in your family plays a role. Everybody plays a role or has a role that they play. Like, I'm the suspect in the family.
I would have never
Always
guessed
have
that.
been. Yeah, I'm suspect. And we know that about me. You better watch her. Yeah, because she'll say one thing in your face, but don't blink, because she's doing a whole different thing. But keep your eye on her. But you've operated and have always operated fearlessly. I mean, you have, you step out there, I don't know, you swing from limbs, you don't know what the outcome's gonna be. You operate, fearlessly. What scares you?
The only thing that scares me is that I know that each of us, and I didn't ask you that, but I know that each of us has a purpose. I know that before we were born, he put everything in us that we need to be and serve and do what we're supposed to do here on this earth. We're here to serve each other first and foremost, and most of us don't get it. Secondly, the reason we do this podcast, Entrepreneur, is that you need to understand that everything you need is inside. Taking care of the business of you first gives you the business of everything that you need in your life to go right. Being able to ask yourself questions and knowing that God and the universe and the spirit are going to give you the answers. If you be patient and you look for them, you be aware. So, am I fearless? By no means. I'm not fearless. I'm faithful. I'm prayerful. And I want to help people to the core of me. I want to change the world in a way that I made a difference. So when I go and transition to the other side, you say, high five, young.
My child, job well done.
Exactly. And that's the only thing. I don't want to be laying in bed about to die and say, damn, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I have no desire to have that feeling. I have a desire to go in peace and know that I did what I was supposed to do. So what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of not doing God's work. Anything else?
No, goddamn it, you've always been a smart person.
And that's another episode of the Entrepreneur. I want to say thank you. Thank you. This is the same chick who did not want to do this. Oh, thank you.
I like this. Can we do it again?
Oh.
I just had to warm up. Really? So what is the universe telling you?
I don't know. I'm going to ask in a minute.
That is funny. Don't you ask those questions. You already got the cheat sheet. No, and I guess one more thing I want to say too. I love you. I really do. We separated in our teens and we went on through the world and, didn't even talk to each other. And the universe brought us back together through a shooting.
And perfect timing.
And it was perfect timing. It really was. Because if those years that we missed, we were together, I would have missed you and you would have missed me. Mm-hmm. The timing was perfect. We had gone through life experiences and he got us back together at the perfect time, perfect place. It was just perfect.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for being an entrepreneur. And thank you, everyone out there, for watching and listening and taking a moment, because you could have done anything else with your time, but you're right here with us. That's a Jay-Z thing. Thank you.